Welcome to the August 2nd, 2021 Advance Report from McGowanGroup clients and NetWorthRadio.com listeners. I'm Spencer McGowan, your financial weatherman, President, McGowanGroup Asset Management, with your weekly fast-paced tour of the global financial markets that helps you make better decisions in investing and updates our clients on exactly what we believe to be the best opportunities. Now, Dow Jones Industrial Average, this is year to date. And notice we've been bouncing off a 35,000 ceiling all the way back to the end of April. And is that a range-bound market? That's been our thesis, and it seemed true this week. The Dow briefly makes a new high on strong earnings reports, which we're about to get to. This is real GDP. The GDP report, economic growth, now they annualize how much the economy went up that quarter. So it's done in annualized figures, but it's the quarterly change. And what this shows, there was an expectation that the current second quarter would be as high as a 6.5 or an 8.5, and it came in about 6.5. Well, what does it mean on an annual basis? If we take the contraction last year, 3.4%, big Fed action, lots of money printing, lots of government spending, was activity that's leading to about a 6.5% increase for the current year. What does that mean for us? It means, well, in dollar terms, the economy has recovered. In jobs terms, which we covered in depth at NetWorthRadio.com or Apple Podcast Networth Radio, we'll cover that in depth. We've got about 7 million more jobs to go to be back at record employment. Here we've got the S&P 500. I mentioned it was strong earnings reports that corresponded to the Dow hitting briefly an all-time high, just above 35,000, about the level it was at the end of April. Earnings growth, 100% over last year. Well, second quarter last year was actually the shutdown quarter. Sales growth, 27%. The leader in sales growth is the energy sector. The leader in earnings growth, materials and mining, actually having a 250% increase in profitability. Just a notable way to view, and this is posted for you at networthradio.com, all the charts and graphs, plus the longer, more in-depth version with Alex Tolene and I, Alex's co-host. S&P earnings, you see the collapse in earnings? Finally, we're back above the earnings peak of 2018. This is quarterly earnings net after tax. Well, if you raise corporate taxes to 28% from 21, of course we haven't even gotten infrastructure yet, so time may run out on that. But in this case, if they do that, it's a 10% reduction in earnings instantaneously, the way they measure it here. But the earnings trend is certainly strong, and the analysts have gotten even more optimistic about U.S. corporate earnings in the recovery. This is the top 10, bottom 10. I like to hit the high points. I mentioned materials and mining. Nucor comes in at a 10% gain for the week. We're just looking at what changed this week. What does it tell us? Citrix Systems actually down 13% this week. A disappointment. They've been unable to gain traction despite the trend of work from home and other uses. And Humana, what we see here, a minus 7%. Some of these are mixed, but I will take the travel industry. Hilton Worldwide up 9%. Obviously, that's restored. CBRE, real estate waking up. CBRE, about a 10% gain. Real estate did not have the collapse from defaults, foreclosures, office downsizing. It just did not materialize. Commodities. You've heard inflation, inflation, inflation. Well, what this tells us is the commodity index reached a peak at the end of May, consistent with $77 barrel oil, which I'll show you in just a second, and commodities still below the end of May peak. Does that mean that inflation is not strong? Well, obviously it is and has been, but it also takes away the catalyst. We covered the fact that lumber has absolutely collapsed from its peak, and so some of this pressure coming off of the inflation numbers. This is oil. Now this trend right here, the recovery after the Delta variant meltdown a couple of Mondays ago, 77 high, within $4 of a cycle high for oil. Will it resume? Will it reach Goldman's prediction of $80 this summer? Well, we'll keep you updated as we go forward. I'm Spencer McGowan, President, McGowanGroup Asset Management, based right here in the Crescent. Update your plan by going to networthradio.com. Fill out the preliminary client questionnaire, and we look forward to meeting in person or by Zoom. Just let us know what works best for you to update your investment plan. Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. I'm Spencer McGowan, President, McGowanGroup, your financial weatherman. We sponsor each week networthradio.com broadcast that has the charts and graphs, many of which you saw today. We also sponsor this YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe for fast breaking news, an alert when we post something in a market condition that may have changed. Our goal is to help you as an investor make the right decisions at the right time. And that's part of what this YouTube channel is about, as well as networthradio.com. I am well served with a team of 10 people, including myself. And that team that cares is actually made up of people who devoted to your net profits and your success, as well as excellence in service. If you want an educational experience to follow this up, get to networthradio.com, the McGowanGroup.com. Right here, we disclose our net client experience all the way back to 2001. What that includes, the bear market cycles of 02, 08, 2018, and the recoveries through the most recent quarter. That is true education of investors and exactly how our clients have done, disclosed right here. Further disclosures, value at risk of loss. Yes, investments are going to fluctuate. That's part of the reason for this broadcast. And that can actually work to your advantage. We'll build that into your plan. So I urge you to go to networthradio.com, fill out the preliminary client questionnaire, a free 1-hour brainstorming session by phone or at the Crescent in Dallas, and we will map out a multi-year plan for you and your family that's appropriate. Just because we talk about a security on this broadcast or any securities doesn't make it a recommendation for your portfolio until you have that written plan. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll be back next week as your financial weatherman.